Okay, so this is a really this is a really good question. I don't know that I've ever answered this directly on my page, okay, but here's the question. Can the devil influence your dreams? Ooh, okay, that's a heavy one. We're gonna start rolling, okay? The short answer to that is yes. And let me explain what I mean by that. Now, first of all, let me just say, okay, I am not, if you're new to my page or you're not accustomed to hearing me teach or speak, I am not a person who gets overly focused on demonic activity, okay? I'm very much aware that it's there. I can very much perceive it. If I walk into certain environments and I can sense that something's going on, all of my receptors go up. I know that it's there. But my training and what I've asked the Holy Spirit to help me with is to always stay more aware and more focused on what the Holy Spirit and what God is doing and know what He wants me to do in those environments. So a lot of times I feel like presence is just, when I perceive things like that going on, I listen to God because I feel like He's making me aware of what's going on so that I can bring the kingdom of heaven into that environment and into that space. So let me just preface with saying that, okay? However, think of it this way, okay? In your normal waking hours during the day, can the devil influence your thoughts? Does he try to? Absolutely. The same principles that apply during our daytime hours are the same principles that apply at night while we're sleeping. And why would the enemy or any kind of dark presence ever come around? He comes only to steal, to kill, to destroy. He comes only to try to cause fear or try to intimidate or try to rob us of peace. So when you apply those same thoughts into the dream space, here's the simplest way that I can say it, okay? Presence communicates. And I go into this a whole lot more depth on my dreams course, but presence communicates. And if you've ever experienced the presence of God, you know what I mean by that. You know that whenever you experience the presence of God, now you're experiencing His joy, you're experiencing His peace, you're experiencing His love, His comfort, His safety, all of the things, all of the characteristics that are consistent with His nature, we experience through presence. It's the same thing in the dark realm. As whenever there is dark presence around, that presence communicates. And what are the characteristics that are consistent with the presence of darkness? Fear, intimidation, gross, lustful thoughts, things that are terrifying, things that cause, that try to steal peace, anything that would try to interfere with our communication, to hear what God is trying to speak to us while we're sleeping, while we're dreaming. Presence communicates, whether it's the presence of God that communicates all of the wonderful things of God, or the presence of darkness that communicates all of the things of darkness. Presence communicates. I mean, have you ever been in just going about your normal day life, okay, and then you encounter somebody who is just like in a horrible mood or really, really angry? What's happening in that moment? Their presence is communicating something to you. Now, depending on how strong you are in your own self, you will either respond to that and you will shrink back, or you will be intimidated by it, or you'll get angry from it, or you will, depending on how strong you are, that will determine your response to it. It's the same thing in the spiritual. Now, I will also say this, okay? The enemy is not omniscient, okay? Only God is all-knowing. Only God is all-present. Only God is all-powerful, okay? So demonic dark activity is very much limited in what it can do, but presence can influence. This is the reality of what Hebrews talks about. Hebrews 5, verse 14, solid food belongs to those who are of full age, that is, those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. Spiritual growth, spiritual development, growing in your ability to perceive things in the spiritual involves you becoming a stronger self, staying more in tune and more rooted in what God is doing and what God is saying to you, than becoming distracted by what's around. If that is not strong yet, then it's going to be very easy for you to get taken off track. It's going to be very easy for you to get easily distracted. Presence comes and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, what just happened? You know, the key to all of this is to become more secure, to become more grounded in knowing and abiding in the presence and the peace of God. And then all of those other things won't be able to take. And here's the thing, this is why I say it's so important. Pray over your dream space. If you're experiencing this on a consistent level, and trust me, I came from a background full of nightmares when I was a kid. I mean, my dream space used to be something that I did not look forward to. But that was because the enemy was really trying to steal that whole thing away from me. And so the more and more that he could try to influence by bringing thoughts and imaginations and things that would cause me to be afraid, the more I would start to shut down that dream space. But pray over your dream space, okay? Pray over your dreams before you go to sleep, especially if you're starting to experience a lot more activity like this. And just remember, God is with you, okay? If he is allowing you to see something, if he's allowing you to perceive something, remember that he is greater. He is not